Nadine Dorries, the Secretary of State, senior politician and supporter of Boris Johnson, who's taken a pop today at Jeremy Hunt, former leadership contender who's been critical of the Prime Minister. He's come out of one of those rebels today. Nadine Dorries has talked about Jeremy Hunt's, quote, duplicity, describes him as inadequate. You've been wrong about almost everything. You are wrong again now. The gloves, Andrew, are off.
They certainly are. Nadine Dorries is probably one of Boris Johnson's most loyal supporters in the cabinet. She wouldn't be in the cabinet if it wasn't for Boris Johnson, to be honest. She was as surprised as anybody when she got that call to be Culture Secretary. But she worked very closely with Jeremy Hunt when he was Secretary of State for Health. She was Junior Health Minister. And so she was privy to a lot of his thoughts. And she, of course, is aware of the fact that as the longest serving Secretary of State for Health, Jeremy Hunt should have been putting in place a strategy for pandemic planning because the World Health Organization said a pandemic was likely. There was absolutely no planning put in place. So she's going for the jugular because Jeremy Hunt, according to the bookmakers, is the biggest threat to Boris Johnson. Remember, he was runner-up last time, the former Foreign Secretary. He's got a bit of clout. As Ken, though, Colin, he was saying he told a friend of Boris Johnson's that now is not the time for a leadership contest. Hello, today he says it is time for a leadership contest, and if you don't vote for change, they're going to lose. So that's why she's talking about duplicity. But can I say one thing about that, Colin? The most duplicitous electorate in the country, probably in Europe, is the Conservative Parliamentary Party. Don't believe a word any of them say about who they're going to support because you can't trust what they say.
And they may bang the table when the Prime Minister addresses them around about now. Is there anything at all he can say, he can promise to that particular electorate you describe that will change a single mind?
Well, what I think he has to do, I don't think what he promises, people don't believe a lot of what he says. That's part of Boris's problem. MPs are finding out on the doorstep, people think Prime Minister's a bit of a fibber. Prime Minister has a bit of a difficult relationship with the truth. But what he's got to show is that he's a brilliant orator, which he is when the chips are down. He's won 2 elections as London Mayor. He won the referendum. It was he that won that referendum, nobody else. And he won that extraordinary majority for the Tories in just 2 or 3, in December 2019. Boris Johnson's had a proven track record as a winner. Now, the polls are pretty bad at the moment, but they would be. It's mid-term. He's also going to say to them, what's the big disagreement with him? It's not on policy, is it? There's no great issue with his leadership as there was with Theresa May. She simply couldn't get a EU withdrawal deal through the House of Commons. With Mrs Thatcher, she'd been in power for 10, 11 years and people thought she'd gone slightly off the rails. Boris has only been there 3 years. He's paying a heavy price for Partygate and his hopeless conduct of that. But there is no major policy rift between Boris and the Parliamentary Party. And he's also going to make the point, bit of a breach of faith with the electorate, isn't it? Because as your report was making earlier, just a few years ago, he got the biggest majority for the Conservatives since 1987. And now potentially 150, 160 MPs are going to say, stuff that, we want him out. He's got to go. He's
Andrew,
got to, though, Colin, in my view. He's got to get 2/3 of the MPs, I think, to be safe.